Everyone and their mom has a Glock. What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be breaking down my new Glock build for you guys, something that I believe to be the best option in terms of everyday carry or duty build, or shit has hit the fan, setups that you can get for the money. Now you can go and you can get something like Staccato for almost what I have into this in total, but that is now bare bones. The gun will run phenomenally, but it doesn't have as many of the features that something like this has. Now, I know you can go get a lot more out of the box stuff that, oh, well, it already has this XYZ features, but there's a reason that I went with Glock specifically, and it's not so much the reliability that everybody talks about. To me, the biggest thing with Glock is how many there are. The aftermarket also for these is insane. There's nothing to rival it at the moment. The 365 market has started to get a lot closer, but in terms of full-size guns, P320 obviously has its issues now currently, but that was another gun that was getting close to the modularity of the Glock, especially in the aftermarket world. But I went with the Glock because everyone and their mom has a Glock. Everybody has a Glock. The frames and slides are interchangeable on a lot of the different models, and the Glock 19 is probably the most popular one of those models. Now, I went with the Glock 19 over the 19X or the 17, despite it being a little bit shorter in the grip for me than I would have liked. This, I believe I would have been better suited with a 17 or the 19X originally straight out of the box, but with the double undercut that I did along with the kind of finger groove setup, I'm not sure how much of that you guys can see there, but it feels amazing now. It feels really good in the hand, and I feel like I have a really good grip on it. The magwell also kind of forces my pinky up into the grip, so it allows me to get a lot firmer grip. So I'm not really facing the issue of having too short of a grip on this. And this one takes 17 mags, it takes 34 mags, it takes the 19X mags, it takes all the Glock double stack 19, or all the Glock double stack 9mm magazines, versus if I would have gone with the larger frame, it wouldn't have taken those basic 19 mags that there are so many of. So I set this up kind of being in a way of thinking apocalyptic or end of the world, because at the end of the day, every gun that we put together is not out of necessity. We have the ones that we have for home defense, or the ones that we carry every day, and the rest of the builds that we kind of put together, they all kind of have a purpose that we drive together in our minds, whatever that may be for you. But I kind of wanted to put together a end of the line kind of scenario to put this build together, and this is what I think the best option is for that. So I'm going to start breaking this down for you guys part by part. We'll start off with the magazines. These are a Terran Tactical Innovations extended base pads, but I did buy the full complete magazines only because I didn't want to modify the ones I already had. I wanted as many magazines as possible, so I already have 3 of the stock magazines, and then I just got 2 more of these Terran Tactical ones. So moving on to the magwell. For the magwell, this is an SLR magwell, and you guys can see it has a nice flare, and the profile on it is not so large that it feels like a competition magwell. It's not really rubbing up against my side from how massive it is, and then it has kind of this flatter edge here on the front instead of being like the larger one. And I really haven't noticed it being a drawback at all from magazine reloads. It feeds in pretty smoothly, and I just think it's a really good option for the magwells. And SLR does a lot of great products. They have a lot of great products. Their machining is amazing, so that was another reason that I went with it. Moving up to probably the most controversial part of this build is the Talon grips. I've heard a lot about this already. I've gotten a lot of comments already on some of the shorts that I've uploaded highlighting this Glock build, but I went with these because they're easily replaceable, and at the end of the day, if it starts to wear off, I can peel it off and I still have a fully functioning gun. It's not like I'm missing anything, and in a few years, if this starts to wear down a little bit, I can swap it out for another one if I want for $20. I didn't really choose it because of the price point, but I just wanted something that was really easy to stick on, and it honestly does have, it offers an amazing grip. It does feel really good. I may end up putting doing my own stippling on this, because I did do these undercuts and the finger groove myself. This is my first time. I had never done anything like this. I had never modified a frame like this at all, so it was a first time for me. So I might do the stippling and someday that I get restless or something like that, but for now, this is how we're gonna run it. Trigger, I did nothing to the trigger. I didn't want to mess with the trigger at all on the Glock. I was able to get some pretty quick shots in together with this trigger itself. I feel like, if a trigger is what's holding you back, and I think you just need to put a few more rounds down range. Obviously, when you start getting into some of the more competition triggers, you're going to shoot a lot faster with those, but I think that with enough practice, you can shoot fairly quickly with the standard Glock triggers. Now, on for the light. This is a TLR7 HLX from Streamlight. I went with this one in particular, namely because of the aesthetics and the lumen output. So when it comes to lights, there's really that's candelas and lumens output, and this one had a really high candela output compared to the standard TLR7, and then some of the Surefire lights. This is right on par with the Surefire lights as well. It has, I believe, 22,000 candela output, which is very bright. I mean, I can blind the camera pretty easily, and hopefully I didn't blind you guys too much. But at the end of the day, this light is flush with the end of the compensator, and that's a big thing for me when I'm putting these builds together. Is I am a huge aesthetics guy, so I love when the flashlight is right at the end of either the muzzle or the compensator itself. I really don't like when they kind of stick out past the end of the slide. It's not my preferred aesthetic. I know some people run them and they still look good, but not for me. And this one also has a rechargeable USB light. It can run standard CR123A batteries, so that's not an issue there either. And then moving on to the slide, I sent this out to Wager Machine. They did just a standard RMR cut on this, and then they also changed out the iron sights. So these are suppressor height iron sights from Angry Bear Arsenal. There's nothing special about them. They're just blackout sights with the serrated on the back, and there's no like fiber optic on them. But again, I'm running a red dot, so I don't really need that. And if I need iron sights, they're there as a backup. For the compensator / barrel setup, I went with Radian. Again, there's a lot of brands out there that you can choose just the threaded barrel and put a different compensator on it, but I do not like the way that they look, and I'm not a big fan of the way that they attach either. It seems kind of not as thought out and not as well engineered as something like this Radian setup. And I love that this had a bronze barrel that I can include without having to send it out to go get coated or anything like that. I just love that the way that this looks already, and it functions amazing. I mean, you guys can see in the video how flat shooting this is, especially when you compare it to the standard stock one. I may be doing a video soon just to compare, because I still have the stock barrel configuration, so I'll be able to put that on and only change that part out. So we'll see a big difference in terms of muzzle rise, and it'd be cool to see also maybe the actual flash that comes up and out of the compensator at night too, because that is a concern that people bring up a lot. So maybe we'll run that in an experiment. And then for my optic, I went with the Trijicon RMR Type 2. This one has a lot larger window than the standard RMR, and it still has the same durability and the same reliability as the standard RMR. It has a really large window, really good sight picture. It's really easy to pick up the dot. So it's a phenomenal optic for sure. and I expect this to last as long as the gun itself is going to last, as long as all the other parts are going to last on this. I don't think that our RMR here is going to be a weak point for this at all. Now, this is, again, my ideal build. Comment down below what you guys would change on this. What would you guys do differently with this setup? Let me know if you guys think that any of these parts are kind of a weak point, or if you guys would change out the trigger on your duty gun or your some kind of end of the world apocalyptic style gun. Would you guys change out the trigger? Because it really, I mean, that's really the only thing that's not changed out. Slides obviously you can change out the slides and it's a lot more aesthetic, but I didn't really want to mess with too much with the slide itself. Not to mention that would make it even more expensive, and at that point, why not just get a staccato if you're spending $3,500 to get a Glock to a good point. So the optic itself is what ate up a lot of the budget on this one. The slide itself was relatively low cost, but the optic and the compensator, the ramjet setup from Radian, for sure was the biggest chunk of the cost on this. All in all, this was about $2,000 for the full setup. Like I said, I did the double undercut myself. I did the finger groove myself, so I'm not really including that, and I'm not putting a price tag on that because it's ultimately, you don't need that. It's not necessary to be running those. It just makes it a lot more comfortable to hold. I would recommend for you guys to do it, but not my grip is not the same as everybody else's. My hands are not the same size as everybody else's, so it may not be the best option for you. So if you guys liked what you saw, make sure you guys drop a like on the video. Comment down below what you guys think of the build as a whole, and would you feel comfortable running this? Obviously putting a few thousand rounds through it yourselves to make sure that it actually runs, but would you guys feel comfortable shooting this? And what do you guys have for your shit has hit the fan build or your duty build? Let me know in the comments down below. I love hearing about everybody's different builds and what kind of different stuff everybody has going on, because not all of us are the same. Maybe somebody might run a different compensator on this or a different light. But thank you guys so much for watching, and there's a lot more gun content coming soon. I have something that I'm really excited about coming that is going to make things go a lot faster at the range. So make sure you guys are subscribed so you guys see that content coming soon.